Good morning, everyone. My topic is all about empathy. So, what is empathy? Empathy is at the heart of what it means to be human. So, the concept of empathy is used to refer to a wide range of psychological capacities that are thought as being central of constituting human as social creatures, allowing us to know what other people are thinking and feeling, to engage with them emotionally, to share their thoughts and feelings, and to care for their well-being. And empathy is therefore a broad concept that refers to the cognitive and emotional reaction of an individual to the observed experiences of another. Having empathy increases the likelihood of helping others and showing compassion. It is the ability to recognize, understand, and share the thoughts and feelings of another person, animal, or fictional character. It's being able to step into the shoes of other persons, aiming to understand their feelings and perspectives, and to use that understanding to guide our actions. And the, and the Philippine settings, it can be it can be truly translated to pakikiramdam. Empathy helps us to cooperate others, but like other streets, there is the danger that is may have evolved with a selfish motive, using other as a social Athena to help detect danger. So there are three kinds of empathy according to the Daniel Goleman's article entitled Three Kinds of Empathy, which is cognitive empathy, emotional empathy, compassionate empathy. So, first is cognitive empathy. This is a simple knowing how the other person feels and what they might be thinking. So, sometimes called perspective taking, this kind of empathy can help and say a negotiation or in motivating people. Cognitive empathy, also known as empathic accuracy, involves having more complete and accurate knowledge about the content of another person's mind, including how the person feels. Cognitive empathy is more like a skill humans learn to recognize and understand others' emotional state as a way to process emotional and behavior. Second is emotional empathy. This happens when the person feels physically along with the other person as as though their emotional were contagious. So emotional empathy, this emotional contagion, social neuroscience tell us, depends in large part on the mirror neuron system. Emotional empathy makes someone will attune to other person's inner emotional world. Applies in any of a wide range of callings, from sales to nursing for any parent or lover. Emotional empathy includes three compassions, which is the first is feeling the same emotional as another person. Second is personal distress, which refers to one's own feelings or distress and response to perceiving another plight. The last one, the third emotional component is feeling compassion for another person. So, com- the last one is compassionate empathy. With this kind of empathy, we not only understand the person's predicament and feel with them, but are spontaneously moved to help if needed. Parents raising children with empathy have a five guideposts, which is emphasize with your child and model empathy for others. 2. Make caring for others a priority and set high ethical expectations. 3. Provide opportunities for children to practice empathy. 4. Expand your child's circle of concern. Last is help children develop self-control and manage feelings effectively. So first, emphasize with your child and model empathy for others. Children can learn empathy both from watching us and from experiencing our empathy for them. When we emphasize with our children, they develop trusting, secure attachments with us. These attachments are key to their wanting to adapt our values and to model our behavior, and therefore to building their empathy for others. Empathizing with our children takes many forms, including turning into their physical and emotional needs, understanding and respecting their individual personalities, taking a genuine interest in their life, and guiding them toward activities that reflect an understanding of the kind of people they are and the things they enjoy. Children also learn empathy by watching those we notice and appreciate. They notice how we treat people from different walks of life. They notice if we welcome a new family in our child's school or express concern about another child in class who is experiencing one's challenge or another. It is important for us to recognize what might be getting in the way of our empathizing. Some parents may feel busted or stressed out. This should be taken into consideration through self-awareness and self-care steps. Second is make caring for others a priority and set high ethical expectations. If children are to value others' perspectives and show compassion, for them it is very important that they hear from their parents that caring about others it it as a top priority, that it is just as important as their own happiness. Even though most parents say that raising caring children as the top priority, often children aren't hearing that message. Third is provide opportunities for children to practice empathy. Children are born with a capacity for empathy, but it needs to be nurtured throughout their lives. Learning empathy is in certain respect like learning a language or sports. It requires a language or sports. It requires practice and guidance. Regularly considering other people's perspectives and circumstances helps make empathy a natural reflex, and through trial and error help children get better at turning into others' feelings and perspectives. Fourth is expand your children's circle of concern. It is easy for us and the children to show empathy for family members, relatives, close friends, but the real issue is whether children and adults have empathy outside the circle. As parents and caretakers is not only important that we model appreciate. It's important that we guide children and understanding and caring for many kinds of people who are different from them and who may facing challenges very different from their own challenges. The last is help children develop self-control and manage feelings effectively. So often when children don't express empathy is not because they don't have it. It's because some feeling or image is blocking their empathy. Often the ability to care for others is overwhelmed. For example, by anger, shame, envy, or other negative feelings, help helping helping children manage this negative feeling as well as stereotypes and prejudice about others is often what releases their empathy. Children who are of school age spend a good amount of their time in their classroom. The school can do so much and nurturing a culture of empathy among its learnings. So let's proceed to teacher raising children with empathy. First, model empathy. Two, teach what empathy is and why it matters. Three, practice. Fourth, set clear expectation. Five, mix culture and climate priority. The Making Caring Common project of Howard University Graduate School of Education likewise came up with research-based strategies to help educators promote a culture of empathy within their school. It has been found out when young people are high in empathy, they have more classroom engagement, higher academic achievement, better communication skills, lower likelihood of bullying, less aggressive behaviors, and emotional disorders, and have more positive relationship. So let's discuss model empathy. It's all start with the teacher. When frustrated with learners, pause and take a deep breath and try to see the situation from their perspective before responding. When a learning is upset, reflect back his feelings or the rationale for his behavior before redirecting the behavior. Mm, Be aware of learning non-verbal verbal cues and follow up on them. For example, um, if a learner is laughing and hear chair and appearing withdrawn or angry, say something like, I noticed that you are quieter than usual today. If something bothering you, rather than immediately reprimanding her. As for learning input, when when appropriate and feasible, for example, um, When established classroom rules or originating ideas for other projects, really listen find opportunities to incorporate their feedback and respond to their needs. Number two is teach what empathy is and why it matters. Clearly and consistently explain that empathy means understanding and caring about another person's feelings and taking action to help. Explain how it improves the classroom and school community. Stress the importance of noticing and having empathy for people beyond immediate friends, including those who are different or who are too often invisible. Um, Give a specific example on how to act on empathy, such as helping, showing kindness, or even simple listening, role playing, storytelling with lessons, and games inside the classroom can be helpful strategies that children can relate with. Number three is practice. So, create opportunities to practice taking another perspective and imagining what others are thinking. Play charades and do role plays. Read and discuss books and use what would you do? Um, Style vignettes or case studies. Name the barriers to empathy, like stereotypes, trees, or fears of social consequences for helping an unpopular peer. Share specific strategies to overcome them. For example, encourage students to privately offer kind and supportive words to a student who was bullied. Foster emotional and social skills like dealing with anger and frustration and solving conflicts. Teach specific routines for calming down uh, and resolving disputes. Use advisories and guidance and counseling to develop social and ethical skills. The fourth is set clear expectation. Be clear that you expect students to care about one another and the entire school community. Don't just put in the mission statement or in a poster talk about it. Model it, praise it, and hold students to it. Do an exercise with students to help them reflect on who is inside and outside their circle. Discuss why and how they can expand the circle of who they care about. Establish specific guidelines for unacceptable language and behaviors. Ban slurs or hurtful language like even even when said ironically or in jest, and step in if you hear them. um, Encourage students to think about why these words can be hurtful. Enlist students in establishing roles and holding each other accountable. They will have a sense of ownerships of these roles. Use restorative justice practices, and peer mediation when conflicts arise. So the last one is make school culture and climate a priority. So make school culture and climate a priority. Make an annual survey of learners and teachers' feelings, whether they feel safe, respected, and cared about at school. Take time to examine the data and make effort to address prob- problem problem areas identified by the learners and staff. Mm. As children learn empathy skills with their classmates, those skills will transfer to their lives and their community. The deeper relationship that result from strong empathy skills have the potential to strengthen a community and build trust. The um, and when they develop empathy, they can exhibit compassion. The next value that is related with empathy is compassion. Um, that's all about my topic.